Tonight, America may be entering the most dangerous financial phase of the decade. A new global conflict is changing the rules of money, power, and survival, and while millions could struggle, a small group may become wealthier than ever before. This is what analysts are calling the war trap, because every major conflict creates two things at the same time: fear for the public and opportunity for powerful industries. The markets are already reacting. Oil prices are becoming unstable again. Shipping costs are quietly climbing worldwide, and inflation fears are returning faster than expected. But this story is bigger than inflation alone, because war changes where governments spend money, and that spending creates winners and losers. History has shown this pattern many times before. During global conflicts, defense companies often surge. Precious metals also tend to attract nervous investors, but ordinary families usually face rising costs. Everywhere, food becomes more expensive, energy bills rise, borrowing money becomes harder, and the middle class often gets squeezed the most. Meanwhile, defense contracts begin exploding in value. Investors are watching every government announcement carefully, because uncertainty creates volatility, and volatility creates opportunity for prepared people. Gold prices are already gaining attention again. Some analysts believe defense stocks could remain strong for years, but critics warn that the public may ultimately pay the price, because every dollar spent during conflict eventually moves through the economy, and when that happens, prices rarely stay stable for long. This is where the real financial divide begins. The wealthy often own assets that rise during uncertainty, while average households depend mostly on wages, and wages usually move slower than inflation. That gap creates pressure across the entire economy. Small businesses often feel the pain first. Higher fuel prices increase transportation costs everywhere, and companies eventually pass those costs to consumers. That means Americans could soon pay more for everyday necessities. But Wall Street is focusing on a very different story. Investors are searching for industries that benefit during instability. Defense companies are one of the biggest examples. Military budgets tend to rise rapidly during global tension, and large contracts can push stock prices much higher. Gold is another asset attracting attention right now, because investors often view gold as a safe haven, especially during periods of fear and uncertainty. Central banks themselves have increased gold buying in recent years, and many investors are watching that trend carefully. But here is the deeper issue few people discuss openly. Wars are incredibly expensive. Governments often finance those costs through debt, and debt changes the future economy. Interest payments begin consuming larger portions of national budgets. That can reduce spending in other important areas, which increases political pressure across the country. Markets hate uncertainty more than almost anything else, and uncertainty is spreading globally right now. Some economists now warn of a prolonged inflation cycle. Others believe technology and productivity could offset the damage, but nobody truly knows how this situation will end. That uncertainty is exactly what makes markets dangerous and potentially profitable at the same time. This is why smart money moves early, before the headlines fully reach the public. Institutional investors are already repositioning portfolios. Hedge funds are increasing exposure to defense and commodities. Energy markets are also becoming increasingly volatile, and volatility often creates fear among ordinary investors. Fear causes emotional financial decisions. Emotional decisions often destroy long-term wealth. That is why preparation matters more than prediction. The biggest winners usually prepare before panic begins. Meanwhile, late reactions can become extremely costly. The next few years may redefine global economic power. Alliances. Our Shanja trade routes are changing and capital flows are changing too. A major economic shift creates enormous consequences. Some industries could thrive under pressure, others may struggle to survive. The middle class could face the toughest challenge of all, because inflation quietly reduces purchasing power over time. Many people do not notice the damage immediately, but over several years, the impact becomes massive. Savings lose value, retirement plans become harder to maintain, and younger generations face even higher living costs. This is why economic awareness has never been more important, because the next financial winners may simply be the most prepared people. The people who understand the system often react before everyone else. They watch policy changes carefully. They follow money flows across industries, and they avoid emotional reactions during chaos, because fear is often the most expensive emotion in investing. But this story is not just about markets. It is about the future direction of the American economy, a future shaped by conflict, debt, and global competition. The real question is simple. When the next economic shift arrives, will you be prepared for the war trap? This content is for educational purposes only. It is not professional financial advice. Investing involves risk. Always do your own research.